Good evening, everyone. And we're live with the Tournament of Panelists for Jeopardy! Live panel. I am Andy Saunders. This is quarterfinal number 1, and before I introduce our panel, I want to introduce the second half of our bipartisan international judging panel. First up, we have the co-founder of the Jeopardy, or the founder, I should say. What am I talking about? The founder of the JeopardyFan.com, Jeannie Kenkel.
Hi, guys.
So the way this is going to work, we have 8 quarterfinals. This is number 1. The winner will progress to semifinals. We also have 13 wild cards between debate scores and fan vote scores will also progress. Tonight's quarterfinalists, we have first up five-time champion that is Kristin Sausville. Then Josh Frumkin.
Yes.
Eric Swanson, who sent a whole bunch of money at a daily double and unfortunately was not successful in defeating Michael Bilo. Yep. We also have Brian Fodera. Ben Wiles, who had not much success against Ken Jennings many years ago. We also have Amanda Mough and Alexander Persaud. Thank you all for joining us on this first quarterfinal. So the way this is going to work, 6 questions. And after your responses and debate, we will go... the judge, both myself and Jeannie, will assign a score between 0 and 5. We'll add up that score, and that will be your score on each of the questions. And so from there, we'll do the I will post fan vote links on Twitter, Facebook, and the JeopardyFan.com website. So, first question of the evening, I am going to start with Kristin because she is right next to me on my thing to answer question number 1. Let me load it up. Okay, so here is question number 1. 99% of all Jeopardy players have that one category that would cause you to seriously consider risking a lock game in Final Jeopardy. What's that category for you?
Ooh, probably capitals.
Capitals. Yeah. Okay. Josh, what do you think?
You know, it would probably be movies of any kind, but if you get really specific, one of my stories when I did it was about I watched a ton of bad movies. So if you could get a category on bad movies or like Battlefield Earth trivia maybe or something like that, I'd be all over that. All in.
Eric.
Mine would actually also be movies. Aside from not being able to say certain words during my game, it would definitely be movies.
Brian?
So two very specific things that would never actually be categories that I'm sure I would bet the house on: New York Mets and Pearl Jam. But in terms of something that actually has been a category, I would probably say the Billboard Hot 100. To keep notebooks by hand of them throughout the 80s and 90s, and a lot of that information is stuck.
Okay. Ben?
Well, I strongly doubt that indoor soccer of the 80s would ever be a Final Jeopardy category, but that would be right in my wheelhouse. But then again, if there were a Bible category that came up, given my line of work, and I didn't bet everything, there would be people who would wonder whether I should keep my job afterwards.
Amanda?
Definitely literature.
Literature?
Yeah.
Considering your Twitter handle, I thought it might have been Nintendo games, but...
Yeah, that too.
And, Alex?
So I would have to say probably South American history, just because it's a potential category, and I know a lot about South America, but also they're not going to ask something too difficult. So that's what I would go with.
Okay. So, now the question is, would any of you guys actually consider, or doing so, risking that lock game under any circumstances? Just to get the discussion going.
In the game, in my fourth win, I did have a lock, and the category was kid TV characters, which I'm a stay-at-home mom. That seemed like a pretty good category, and for a few seconds, I did think about putting it at risk just to get to 30,000, because then you get your name on a special page on the Jeopardy website, but in the end, I couldn't do it. So I wagered 4,000, which is always the right thing to do.
Trolling for votes. No, there's no. I mean, I had a lock game my first game, and my brain just went to mush. Like, oh my god, I'm gonna win. Oh my god, I'm gonna win. I mean, it was a hard Final Jeopardy anyway that I would have missed no matter what. But as much as I'd like to say, let's go for it, I can't imagine ever actually risking a sure thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's just a bad idea. With all the bad luck that I had during my game, if I had been in any position to, if I was in a lock game, there's no chance I would have gone higher than what I should have.
I think the answer is no, like everyone's saying, although if you're ever going to consider doing it, it would probably depend on what game you were at. If you were in a multi-day run, I would definitely not do it in the first game. Walk away.
Some of us don't get more than a first game.
Probably wouldn't do it on the fourth or fifth game. I was trying to get into that Tournament of Champions, but if I had more wins than that under my belt, who knows? Maybe do something crazy, like splitting 10 blackjack table or something.
It would have had to have been part of a really long run, and I would probably have to have almost been tired of being there before I would consider putting that kind of a lock at risk. I'd have to almost be physically and mentally done with the whole process, so that if the writers do pull something and it's just not turns out badly, then it wouldn't hurt as much. But if it's early in a run, and I actually care whether I come back the next day, then no.
As an economist, so I deal with this all the time. We talk about loss aversion and riskiness. So I would definitely say risk aversion is going to definitely make me not want to do that.
Okay, so while Jeannie and I come up with scores for the first question, just some housekeeping. I want to say that that there are some of you that I have that in availability, and I haven't quite gotten in touch with you yet. Don't fret, don't worry too much. There's still plenty of time for me to do so, and there is still plenty of spots available to take on our panels, so that is A-okay. I am just let's see here. I have received scores. I am going to I have to add my own in, and okay, let's see. Okay. Okay, so our scores for the opening question. I am going to between. Let's see. Sorry, just adding some numbers up here.
Maybe it would be easier if you sent the scores to me, Andy, and you could keep talking while I did that.
Oh no, that's I will think about that for next time.
Okay.
Can I ask a question while you're adding?
Yes, yes.
Okay. For the economist on the panel, is there a way to quantify the expected value of continuing a run versus the expected value of a Klaven bet?
Yeah, no, you could definitely think about what your expected value is in terms of if I continue in this game and what's my probability of winning a next game, etc. So you could discount the entire expected winnings in the future. So you could say, well, maybe I could earn 4,000 more now, but if I did that, I would lose, and sort of waive that against what the other potential options would be. So you could definitely have some sort of binary decision, right? Discrete choice between the two. If that makes sense.
I have to say that as a viewer, it's pretty awesome when somebody does that, because I remember that, like, was it the 11-year-old in the kids game who got the Gettysburg Address? He memorized the Gettysburg Address, and then the Civil War was the category, and he ended up with 66,000 because he just went all in, even though it was the same as what was it, serendipity or something, or where the other kid got dinged for having an extra. The Emancipation Proclamation.
Emancipation.
Okay, so at this point, I believe I have some scores. Let's see here. So let's see here. Okay, we have Kristin on 7. Brian on 7, Eric on 7, Ben on 6, Josh on 7, Alex on 7, Amanda on 4.
Wow, it's almost like a 5-way tie or something.
Well, it's early, and we're one question in. We're moving on to something a little bit different. Fantasy football season is starting, and the NFL season is starting up soon. If you could come up with a Jeopardy-themed fantasy football team name, this one inspired by Kea. She, in one of our fantasy football leagues, she has named her team Las Pepitas de Oro because she has a good sense of humor about her daily double. So inspired by that, what Jeopardy-themed fantasy football team name would you use? We're going to start here with Josh, and then work and go last with Kristin.
So actually, I joined a couple leagues right after, because this week was actually the week that I taped 3 years ago. My first tape day was a couple days ago. Anniversary was a couple days ago, or Saturday, and then the next one was next week. So I had like a bunch of fantasy football drafts right when I was taping, and so. One of them, was a new league I joined, and I named the team Trebek's Army, which is, okay, it's not great. I think the one that I would probably go with the most, again, going off of, it's fun to make fun of our failures so we can find humor in them and not commiserate forever. I would go with Clink Clank Computer, which was the wrong Final Jeopardy answer I gave and the one that I lost. Because I'll be reminded of it always anyway, so why not, try to make some hay with it.
Eric.
Oh, geez. It'd probably be something like Suck It LL or Stupid LL. Or, yeah, let's go with that. Or maybe something about Carl Theodore Dreiser. Yeah, let's go with that.
Brian.
I would... the caveat here is I would never do fantasy football, but in this theoretical world, again, referencing prior failures, I would do the Cape Horn Blackbirds. That combines both the daily double that I screwed up in my Jeopardy game and the $100 question that I missed on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. And it actually sounds like it could be a real team name, the Cape Horn Blackbirds. So I could go with the Cape Horn Radio Shacks and have it totally be Jeopardy. But it doesn't make any sense. Of course, neither did the Final Jeopardy question that had it.
Ben.
Well, if we're glorying in past failures, probably something involving the bridge to Terabithia and an arrow pointed the wrong way. Yeah, Terabithia is the other way, maybe something to that effect.
Amanda.
Well, since my episode was the one where Alex rapped the Fresh Prince theme song, and it went pretty much viral, probably something to do with that, or the promo photo that they did, where he comes and stands behind you and takes your picture. Everybody was saying that it looked like we were going to prom together because of the way that we were standing, so probably it would be Alex Trebek's prom date.
Alex.
So I was thinking Alice Trebek is from Sudbury, so the Sudbury Trebecois is what I was thinking of.
So. Interesting. And Kristin.
Well, I did take my inspiration from my fantasy football team named from Kea, and I named mine Too Hot to Handle.
Oh.
It's too hot to handle, yes. So, again, I'm going to, I don't think this is really a debate question, but what I'm going to ask our panel to do is put your, while we come up with the scores, I'm going to ask the panel to click on my picture because I am going to screen share the picture that we're going to require. For question number 3, this is the first of our caption contests, and you're going to need to, remembering that this is a Jeopardy panel. Now, I should say, I don't know if you saw the video of a certain web.com tour golfer recently trying to extricate his ball from a water hazard, but I have managed to get a reaction picture of that. Here is your photograph to caption. While we come up with our scores, you guys think you have some time to think about a caption for your for this photograph that is obviously Jeopardy related.
I should hum the Jeopardy theme music at the same time.
Oh my God. This is worse than Final Jeopardy. Man.
If it helps you with points, if it helps you with points with the last question, can I note that I actually had them when they flew me back out for my second tape day. I actually scheduled my flight back out to LA around the fantasy football draft. Like I needed to make sure I got in early enough that I could get into the hotel, not telling anybody where I was, like pretending I was still on the East Coast, that nobody knew that I was flying back out to LA and sitting in the DoubleTree doing a fantasy football draft the night before my tape day.
Huh.
Are we supposed to be typing it or just say it?
Just once it comes down, I'm going to keep it up. I'm going to announce the scores from the last question, and then we're going to get right into your captions. We are going to start with Eric this time, so just be aware of that. Yeah, it's going to go. We're going to start with Eric. But the scores from the last question: Amanda picks up 7 for a total of 11. Alex picks up 7 for a total of 14. Josh 8 for a total of 15. Ben 7 for a total of 13. Eric 4 for a total of 11. Brian 7 for a total of 14. And Kristin 6 for a total of 13. So Josh has 15. Alex and Brian 14. Kristin and Ben 13, Eric and Amanda on 11. Eric will go first with the caption to this photograph here. Go ahead, Eric.
Oh my God. Let's go. Oh no, should have wagered 4,000.
Brian.
Okay, so similarly, oh no, I can't believe liqueurs is the first category.
Ben.
You mean to tell me I was trying out for Sports Jeopardy all along?
Amanda.
You gotta go with the classic Suck It, Trebek.
Alex.
Oh no, I'm going to have to wear my backup clothes now.
Kristin.
Oh no, I made it a true daily double bogey.
Wow.
And Josh.
Oh my God, Ken Jennings is everywhere. Sorry about that.
And well, I'm going to put the picture back up one more time. If you're tuning in, you can use the hashtag Jeopardy Live Panel and submit your favorite Jeopardy-related captions to this photograph. And if I like them, or if anyone else likes them, I'm sure it'll get retweeted. So. Again, okay, so let's see here. I have some scores already. We have, let's see here. Yep.
This is important news that NBC just announced that they are not actually going to be doing the Coach reboot. They just announced that it felt too dated. Surprise.
Okay, so I now have scores from the caption contest from the third question. So let's see here. Kristin picks up 7 for a total of 20. Brian 3 for a total of 17. Eric, I think you impressed the judges with the Just Wager 4,000 reference right off the bat. So 8 points to Eric. That brings him up to 19. Ben 7 points for 20. Josh 7 for 22. Alex 5 for 19, and Amanda 3 for a total of 14 points. Moving on to question number 4. This one might have a little bit more discussion to it. If you could change one gameplay rule about Jeopardy, not eligibility rule, gameplay rule, so you can't say, let me come back. You could change one gameplay rule about Jeopardy. We're going to start with Ben on this one. What rule would you... Sorry, we're going to start with Brian, sorry. What gameplay rule in Jeopardy would you change?
Let's start with Ben. The gameplay... I think we need more maps because U.S. Americans are Iraq and yeah, I don't have an answer to this question off the top of my head. I think Jeopardy is just perfect the way it is, and I wouldn't change a thing about it except that maybe I would go back and do some things differently in my own particular game. But I need more time to think of a rule change that I'd favor.
Ben.
I actually have a couple of ideas on this, and I've had a while to think about it since you always wonder how things would have gone differently if different rules were in place. One is I would like them to think about maybe having the penalty for being wrong on a clue. We're at 200 right, minus 100 if you miss. And the other one I would like them to at least think about is a minimum wager in Final Jeopardy. Make it harder to get a lock so that you have to be, if they require you to bet half or a third or a quarter of what you have, then you would have to have a greater distance from second place in order to lock somebody out.
Amanda.
I think it would really raise the stakes if you were able to steal a daily double question from a contestant, like if they got it wrong. Like if they bet, if they had $10,000 and they made it a daily double, they bet 20 and they got it wrong, if you could buzz in and steal that $20,000, that would really make it crazy.
Alex?
That was actually the one I was going to say, but the other
sorry.
one. Oh no, it's okay. The other one I was thinking about was a middle Jeopardy question. So after the first round, you have another question where everybody gets to answer. That way, it raises the amount that you can win. It also lets us even out between rounds what's going on.
Middle Jeopardy, interesting. Kristin.
I could swap out with this. I could swap out with this guy if I didn't know vinyl. All right.
You're welcome.
Josh.
Yeah, I was thinking stealing. Well, I was thinking of stealing daily doubles. You could, taunt people during daily doubles. I think would, certainly in today's age of people yelling on Twitter would get some people going. You could, some toss-up questions to make it feel more 21st century. Maybe some more lights around the studio that just kind of spin around randomly and get in people's eyes and things like that. I don't know. Just, make it look, who likes classic game shows? We need to make it look like it was, from 2030 or something like
that. Eric, what do you have?
So I think this will sound a little more self-serving than I intended to be, but I think it'd be interesting to see how the game would change if everyone got to keep the money that they had at the end of the game. Just to see how, if it would affect how long people play, if people would be more conservative after a few games, just how it'd be interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, I mean, I'm just gonna say, you all missed the definitive answer that if you get the definitive answer would be you get slimed if you get a question wrong.
I can't believe it. Oh man.
That's the definitive answer.
Double dare rules.
Yeah, double dare rules.
We all like to make up ladies too much for that.
What was that? There was that game show Distraction or something where they would get like executed or something whenever they got answers wrong, or naked people to stand in front of them as they answered the questions.
Wow, I didn't even think about daring people to answer a question if you can get it wrong and then they have to go through a physical challenge. I didn't know. Man.
There's that show on Fox right now called Boom, where if you answer, you essentially gets slimed with something.
Huh.
Yes, I know. I've seen a couple of people on my Twitter feed watch Boom religiously. So, but while the judges get me their scores, I am currently putting mine together.
Wait, so if we were slimed, does this mean that we have to wear red and blue jumpers?
Maybe that might not be the worst idea.
It would make the time that the champ has to change clothes would be even more harrowing.
Right. Make 4 extra sets of jumpers just in case.
I think the makeup ladies would quit in protest.
So much for coat and tie Jeopardy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm thinking about our servicemen and women in there, dress.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so I have some scores at this point. We have, let's see here. Okay, Amanda picks up 8 for 22 in total. Alex picks up 7 for 26. Josh picks up 5 for 27. Ben, 8 for 28. Eric, 8 for 27. Brian, 7 for 24. Kristin, 5 for 25. Meaning your scores at this point with 2 questions left. We have Ben on 28, Josh and Eric on 27, Alex on 26. Kristin has 25, Brian 24, Amanda 22. 2 questions left, number 5 here on tonight's panel. We're going into the world of television for this one. Which current character from the world of television do you think should try out and get on Jeopardy as a story arc on their series? We are going to start with Ben on this one.
Well, if you had asked me this question 3 months ago, it would have been easy because Ron Swanson.
Yeah.
That would have been a slam dunk walk off. Choose your sports metaphor here. I think probably the easy answer on that front is one of the Big Bang Theory guys. I think they would. I think a Sheldon. I think Sheldon would be funny. I think Leonard would be a multi-day champion. But knowing the Big Bang writers, I think Penny would be the one they would most likely choose just for laughs. So probably one of those guys.
Do you actually think Sheldon would get through the interview portion of the of the tryout without
I would
completely
pay a
ticking
lot.
off?
I would pay a lot of money to watch him and Maggie in the same room. They could sell tickets to that.
Amanda.
Yeah, he definitely took the obvious answer there with the Big Bang guys. And going along the Parks and Rec route, I think it would be hilarious to see Andy on Jeopardy, Andy Dwyer, like just kind of fumbling around on stage, like not really sure how he got there and just kind of like throwing out answers.
Alex.
I guess I'll take it a different direction. I was thinking of Francis Underwood from House of Cards. So then you get all these manipulations in the back room, like people poisoning muffins, and your wardrobe gets ripped in half, and you can't appear on stage, and your makeup melts on stage. I don't know, something. Your buzzer gets cut.
Asides to the camera.
His mom's tuna salad sandwich recipe.
Yeah.
So that's where Faith Love got it from. Kristin.
Honestly, the more I'm thinking of it, like, it's really a shame that Parks and Rec is off the air, because I think we could have turned into, which Parks and Rec character would be the best on Jeopardy, because I think April would have been amazing. I think she really would have brought something special. But no, I was thinking fresh off the boat, Eddie, the kid in it, he has a lot of swagger, and I think he would be amazing on Kids Week. He would definitely nail the interview portion, if maybe not do so well on the actual questions. But just have like a storyline where his brothers coach him and he bombs, but tells a great story.
Josh.
I thought of a few. I mean, the one that I could see the most likely to do it, because I think he did like a Tonight Show sort of thing and likes to play with stuff, is Louis. I think he'd have a very funny take on it. I think you could go funny with like a cartoon character like Archer, like sipping martinis while he's playing Jeopardy or something like that. The absolute worst would be probably anybody from The Walking Dead, but definitely a zombie from The Walking Dead, because it would probably get a little out of control, and Alex would. Everybody would just have a really, like Maggie just wrangling them would probably not go well, but yeah.
Okay, so Eric, what do you think?
So, because it is yet to be canceled yet, and it's still technically a current show, I would go with Larry David. Do like an entire Curb Your Enthusiasm arc, just about him trying out, and then you could have the auditions. Somebody eats all the M&Ms in the green room, and he has to teach them, etiquette lessons. Someone's chewing gum too loudly in the studio. It's rife for.
And Brian.
Well, the one person I would want to say, I think, unfortunately, is not eligible because his television show, well, he is no longer a part of his the television show that he was on, although I think it is supposed to return. Although arguably what he's involved in right now is the ultimate reality show, and that's Donald Trump. But it's actually the actual fictional character, although again it's arguable that Donald Trump is a real person character. But it's an actual fictional character, and I don't watch the show, so I can't give a specific name, but I would say any zombie from The Walking Dead, because I think that would add an element to the game that is definitely lacking now. If the other players not only had to, be concerned about getting in on the buzzer before their opponents, proper wagering, but they also had to, be concerned that one of the opponents might try to eat their brains. I think that would definitely shake things up.
I'm sorry, what is brains was the correct answer.
I would the answer for every question, but
Okay, so while Jeannie and I come up with our scores from this question, the sixth question is, I'm just going to admit I stole this one from, and it's going to, you're probably people might have an advantage if you're tuning in for later panels, but this one's stolen directly from Gemma Kaneko and her cut forecast on MLB.com. They always do this at the end of their podcast. You're going to have to summarize this podcast or this episode in 140 characters so I can tweet it out. So I think you got a little bit of time to think about that while I come up with the final or the scores after question number 5. Let's see here. Okay. One thing I have definitely noticed, I think, so far is that there's a lot of the times where something impresses one of the judges, but not so much the other, because they're all right. That's one thing, which might explain why the scores are so close, to be honest with you. But hey, that's part of the game. That's why we have a bipartisan, multinational judging panel here at the Tournament of the Panelists. So it's a very difficult task to impress us both at the same time. So let's see here. Going into the summarize this in 140 characters, we have Amanda picking up 3 for 25, Alex picking up 7 for 33, Josh 3 for 30, Ben 8 for 36, Eric 5 for 32, Brian 7 for 31, Kristin 6 for 37. So we have, let's see here, assuming I have done, Kristin 6 for 31. Apparently I can't math tonight. Okay, that's more like it. Okay, Ben has 36 points. In second place right at the moment, Alex has 33, Eric has 32, Brian and Kristin 31, Josh 30, Amanda 25. So we are going to start with Amanda. Summarize tonight's episode in 140 characters or less.
Thinking on Your Feet, Parks and Rec, and Zombies.
Okay, Alex.
That's the final question?
This is the final question.
Didn't we have to wager on this?
No wagering. No wagering. Alex.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Okay, sorry. So I wrote a haiku. Jeopardy fan base always tunes in to hear more. Panelists sound off.
Okay. Kristin.
All right. And now you've got the image of Ron Swanson valiantly fighting off zombies from The Walking Dead on the Jeopardy set in your head.
Okay, Josh.
I actually wrote this down on Twitter. I am good at knowing things, maybe tougher to think of things. Hashtag trivia, hashtag Jeopardy live panel, hashtag Team Josh. 99 characters.
Wow.
Ben. Sorry, actually, Eric. Sorry, Eric.
Okay. Okay, so mine is so many champions on the panel. Why do they have to be so greedy? Just to let the losers move on.
Okay, Brian.
9 disembodied heads need something better to do.
And Ben.
I tested this out on Twitter, and it looks like I'm under the limit. Finally, something involving Jeopardy that doesn't include Ken Jennings or arrows. Hashtag Jeopardy Live Panel. Hashtag Tournament of Panelists. Hashtag Go.Go.
Okay. So, Jeannie and I will come up with our scores on that, and from there we will have our final scores. Our next panel, I will announce the panelists tomorrow afternoon about 1:00 p.m. That is 6 hours before we start. We start September. That is, we have 2 actually. Sorry, but there's one at 7 p.m. There's one at 10 p.m. Both all times Eastern. So, okay.
I can't wait until the last panel when everybody knows what scores everybody had before them, and they just start saying absolutely insane things to try to like rack up big points.
But the thing is, guess what? You've got to impress. You've got to impress some judges, and that depends on.
Hey, by the way, should we see a picture of a bottle of Aleve up right now?
Okay, so let's see here. And remember that you can always save a poor debate score if you can get your friends to vote for you. So that will information on that will appear in about half an hour at the JeopardyFan.com website. So just keep that in mind. Let's see here. So, okay, I'm going to reveal these in reverse order of how they of scores going in. Amanda had 25. Her tweet picks up 4 points from the judges for a total of 29 on the debate portion. Okay, following that, Josh had 30, picks up 7 to finish at 37. Next up, Kristin had 31, picks up 7 to finish at 38. Brian had 31, also picks up 7 to finish at 38. Eric had 32, picks up 6 to finish at 38. By the way, in case of ties for wild cards, I will be doing a count back on best individual question. Alex had 33. His haiku picked up 10 points from our judges.
Well done.
A 10 on the haiku. The first perfect score of the quarterfinals goes to Alex. He finishes at 43. And Ben had 36. He picks up 7, so he finishes at 43 as well. So this is going to come down to the fan vote as to who advances as well. Look for information in about half an hour at the JeopardyFan.com website. Our next panels are tomorrow, September 1st, 7 Eastern, 10 Eastern. Tune in then. For all of us here at the JeopardyFan.com, myself and Jeannie and all of our panelists, thank you guys for tuning in. See you tomorrow.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
And if you're my friend on Facebook, just a heads up, incoming.
That's called Team Kristin.